Hello, this is Walter Bradley, and I want to extend an invitation to you. But what are you going to? You can join Greg Fernandez, Walter Bradley, and all of his friends as they go to Monte. But you say, what is in Monte? Well, California, it's Monte, California. And, well, what happens to be close by in Monte, you may ask yourself. Well, let me give you an answer. It is Bohemian Grove. And no, not a bunch of bohemians run out into the forest. That's not what's in view here. But world leaders, world earth movers, so to shake this world up. Well, they do that. And sometimes we hear they make plans and decide how things should go. Does this mean it's a worldwide planning phase? Oh, I don't know. But Greg is out there to find out. And he wants to know what really happens in Bohemian Grove. Is it just a bunch of old men and ladies running around? Because they used not to have women, but I've heard some have attended. But in regards to that, we have to look at the finer details. And what are those details? Well, not always known, are they? And we'll be looking for you to join us here on Heart Talk to talk about Bohemian Grove. And, you know, maybe we should make a song for them. Oh, wait, they already have one by Queen called Bohemian Rhapsody. Maybe they play it while they're out there. Maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know. But in any case, we will look forward to you joining us in Monte, California at Bohemian Grove.
Hey, good peeps. Thanks for joining me here. Talk about the struggle, the constant struggle, the constant battle. And that's what life is. It's a constant struggle, it's a constant battle. Struggle between good and evil for your soul. This is what we're talking about here. Not the temporary stuff, but the eternal things that keep us going, that keep you going, keep this world moving, keep us focused and keep us planted on the goal, to what the real answer is to the one question that matters. Why are we here? And if you're not here for Jesus Christ, then you're going to be lost. Now, there's always a way to get found, and there's always a chance. There's always hope. Hope is never ever gone until you give up. And as long as you don't give up, then the hope is always going to be there. The struggle is always going to be real, and we're always going to be fighting for truth, fighting for what's right while we're here on this earth. Because God has you here for a purpose, and it's not your purpose, it is His purpose for you. There is a difference, in my opinion. And what keeps me grounded is my faith in Jesus Christ. What keeps me whole is my faith in Jesus Christ. And the reason why we are attacked is because of our faith in Jesus Christ. That's what this is all about. When you really, really press people, that's what it's all about. So, you know, almost 40 years old now, and I'd like to live another 40 at least, if possible. But not at the expense. Not at the expense of selling out, I guess I should say. It might be the best way for it. Because we can have treasures on earth, we can have treasures in heaven. I'm going to go with heaven. Those treasures seem a lot more fruitful. And there is a lot more, just a really good feeling. It can be overpowering sometimes, how good the feeling is and how just blessed I feel sometimes, like right now. Blessed to have what I have, and so many people don't have anything, wandering through life with nothing but scars, broken dreams, and a delusional world. It can be sad. As you can look at people, sometimes you just get this feeling, their sadness just overwhelms you to the point where that's all you can feel. That's all that there feels like there is when you're standing next to this person. And it is one of the most irritating feelings that I've ever had in my life. Because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be this eternal sadness. It doesn't have to be the constant battle, the constant struggle. It doesn't have to be that way. But it begins with us, not with somebody else. It's not other people that are going to make us happy. It's God that's going to make us happy. And when I hear people struggling, complaining about their struggle and telling me about this person did me wrong here, that person did me wrong also, and it's all about all the things that everybody else did wrong to them. Not a lot of focus on their spiritual journey and what they've been doing right for God. And for me, it does begin in church, and I do think that there's a very strong power when you have two or more Christians in the same place. So for me, church is a very powerful place to keep me focused, to keep me grounded, because it's easy for us Christians to go wandering into the wilderness thinking that that's all that we need. We've got it all figured out, and we just do A, B, C, D, and that's it. And that's when God comes in and just takes those plans away. So, because they weren't His, they were ours. They weren't His, they were the evil ones that we continually face. And it's important to talk about it, not to dwell on it, the evil that we face, but it is important to talk about it, to face it, and to face it in the right way. You wouldn't face fire with fire. You face fire with water. And that's kind of the approach that I think needs to be taken when it comes to the spiritual battle that we face. I know I've had some discussions, some long discussions, continual discussions that will continue for a long time about capital punishment. And it just seems wrong to me. I understand if, all the things people do and an eye for an eye and all that, but I don't believe a life is ours to take. And I believe that if you take somebody else's life as a judge, as a jury, as the executioner, then you are the judgment that God had for that person. You're kind of carrying that weight now. And now you're not only carrying the other person's weight for their murder, for what they did to somebody else, but now you just turned around and did the same thing to that person. Your judgment is probably going to be more so. And I'm just guessing, just speculating, but it seems like your judgment would be more than that person because you knew better. Because you are a Christian. Because you are a follower in Jesus Christ. And you knew better. And you still did something bad. And you still thought that the life was yours to take. We don't have that right. I really don't believe we have that right. When we do it, people do it. It happens. But that's part of this struggle. That's part of this spiritual struggle, the eternal struggle that we face. I guess it's not eternal, but still we die. But as long as we are here, let's do something. Let's do something good. Let's do something unselfish. Let's do something for other people. Let's do something that can help somebody. Because the people need our help. They don't need our teaching. They don't need our leadership. They don't need us to tell them what to do. They need help in their spiritual journey. And it's effort, and it's exhausting at times. Sometimes people don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it, but they keep coming back to you for help. So they're trying to find God. They're trying to fill that void in their life. And that is a continual battle. It's a continual struggle. And it's very real. Oh, it's very real. You all know it. I don't have to tell anybody. You know it. You live it. You see it. You see other people living in it. Sometimes you feel helpless to do anything about it. But pray. And don't believe that prayer is just that, there's no power. The power of prayer is one of the most blessed things that you could do. It's one of it. There really is so much power in it. It should not be taken for granted, and it should not be taken lightly. And it should not just be seen as, well, okay, I pray, all right, bye. The power of prayer is very, very influential, and it can change things. It can move mountains if you believe, if you have the faith of a mustard seed. That's all. And we don't. We say we do. We read the Bible, we do all this, but we don't. We really don't. That's our struggle. That's the blind here in this blind world. And I just want to remind everybody just to not give up, to keep your focus on Jesus. Keep your focus on Christ. Read your Bible. Go to church. Study the Word. Question it with an open mind, with an open heart, with a humble mind, with humility. Everything we do for Him, and He will lead you out of this darkness into the light when the time is right. I pray for that, and I will continue to pray for it. I pray that everybody could find a good church, could find a place of worship where Jesus is put first and where you get that good spiritual feeling, because there's nothing like it. You've heard of a runner's high, things like that. Oh, this is so much better. This is a continual thing, and it can be very draining. And our biggest issue, our biggest problem is that we get drunk off of our own knowledge. So once we do that, we are in trouble. We are screwed. It's not over. It's not the end, but Christians who think that they know it all and have it all figured out are in trouble. And we're seeing a lot more of them, especially, I want to say especially younger Christians, but I don't know if that's really the case anymore. I don't know. Not really sure about that, what the difference is, but I do see it a lot more, and I see Christians trying to be leaders instead of trying to be followers, trying to be a shepherd instead of realizing that they're sheep. Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do what we can, whatever it is, whatever we can do. Because everything we do, what we do to others, is what we do to God. It's what we do to Jesus. And they are the same. Let nobody tell you anything different. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by these quasi-Christians, fake Christians, or just watered-down Christians. Apologists. Nothing to apologize for. The line in the sand was drawn. So we know that. And we also know there is one way into heaven, and that is through Jesus Christ. He has seen the Father, who is the Father. It is an amazing journey. We only journey once. We're only here once. It's a big test. It's the ultimate test. The test doesn't stop until we're gone, until we leave this world, until we leave this earth, until we're dead. The test is continual. Never give up. Never give in. Never sell out. As long as you do that, you'll be all right.
Hello, fellow people, fellow sojourners on Earth. This is Walter Bradley and Greg Fernandez Jr. of Heart Talk, Bohemian Grove in Monte, California. What goes on out there? Well, not many can tell you except those who have attended those meetings, but those that attend the meetings go by invitation only and are allowed to join this special club only by invitation. And you have to be in the upper echelons in your business and society. So, what do they go and do each summer for 2 weeks? And who all goes there? Well, you never know, because some go there discreetly and quietly, and they don't know. Some go there via, well, yes, they telecommute into this wonderful place to make their views known and plans and thoughts. And it could be even Queen Elizabeth and the royal family, and all the royals may chime in remotely. Or maybe they send a representative, an attaché, or one who will bring their views and necessary comments to this organization in California, started in the 19th century. So, who is at Bohemian Grove and why? Well, that's what we're about, finding the truth and looking at it distinctly, clearly, and objectively. So, Bohemian Grove and members of, send a rep or two out, say hello to us, and maybe we can end this little standoff.
Now, regarding Bohemian Grove, we will be at Bohemian Grove in Monte. We will be there July 13th, 2019. Hopefully all day. I try to get out of there before the sun goes down. Spiritually, I don't need that in my life. Don't want it, so I'm good. But the calling to go there each year for me is still there, and it's still strong. And it's still, I'm still trying to figure out what they're doing there. I know the speculation, but I'm looking for the evidence. I'm looking for the facts about the Bohemian Club, the Bohemian Grove, and everything that goes along with it. So, once again, this year, we'll be out there, out in front, talking with employees, talking with members, visitors, whoever it is, whoever shows up. Each year is different. You never know what to expect. Come to expect the unexpected, pretty much. So, we'll see what happens this year. It's always an interesting year. Glad to have Sacred Owls coming back. I think that'll be fun. Maybe to have them do some songs there live. I think that'd be fun too. So, and you never know. We got this county supervisor board thing going on, so we'll talk a little bit more about that once I get some of the documents in front of me. So I am driving right now. So there will be more on that, but we're gonna go out there and see what's going on. See, some of the interesting things obviously is why the sheriff deputies are at the Grove. What are they doing there? They really need to be there. If they're off the clock, if they're doing it privately, then they should probably not be using their sheriff deputy vehicle. They should probably not be wearing their sheriff deputy uniform. But no, each year there's been money that goes towards protecting the Bohemian Grove. There is some resistance towards that on the I think it's the city council this year, or the board. Some of the supervisors have some issues, some questions about it, so try to get in touch with them. Hopefully, maybe I'll do that later on today if I can. And there's just not enough hours in the day to keep up with everything. So it's important not to overload yourself, because you will get burnt out, you will become manic, and then you will have to take a few steps back just to take one step forward. So save yourself some grief, save yourself some time, and just pace yourself. Pace yourself. If I could give anybody any advice, that would probably be it. And let's hope I can take my own advice too, to not get overwhelmed. And when I do feel like I'm overwhelmed, that's what I do. I just, you can either just stop, you can shut down, or just take a deep breath and try to keep moving forward. So we'll see what the journey to the Bohemian Grove brings us this year. See about any cardboard cutouts. And hopefully we will have one similar to the image that you're seeing right now. I don't know, I just thought it'd be funny. Joe Biden. It's funny. It's not funny. Okay, it's not funny. It's perverted, but come on. Anyways. This journey will continue. And I hope I can feel more comfortable about what I believe is really going on at the Bohemian Grove. I don't believe everybody. I mean, there's obviously a lot of compartmentalized people. I think it is a gentleman's club, all that. We know that they're doing lakeside chats where they're talking about policy, and then who's supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there, government elected officials, future government elected officials. Will the next president of the United States be at the Bohemian Grove? We heard Stacey Abrams was at the Bilderberg this year. Highly doubt Stacey Abrams will be invited to the Bohemian Grove. But if they want to change if they're trying to bring in more members, I can't see them opening it up to women. So we'll see how that goes. See what the future holds. But it's a private club, private organization. Every summer they come out there. They come to Bohemian Grove for 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, technically, I guess. And this is where they gather. This is their golf course. So, for pleasure or for business, whatever it is, they say to leave your cares behind. They sacrifice care before a 40-foot owl to get the party rolling. So that's always the day that we try to get out there, is on the very first day. And I think I'm going to try more prayers this year. More prayers, bring my Bible, and I think that's important. Not screaming at people, not yelling at people, not telling them how bad they are, how wrong they are, trying to tell them what's in their heart because they're there. I don't believe every person that goes to Bohemian Grove is a bad person. That would be very false for me to say, because I don't know every person there. It's a private club. I don't know anyone there. I really don't want to know anyone there. But we do know that people at the top of the Fortune 500s, people at the top of these corporations, they get invited, invitation only. So they're not inviting poor people, as far as I can tell. You see the cars, and we've gotten some comments about the cars that were there and everything. But there's a lot of employees, a lot of workers, service people. So that could also be why some of the cars, not why all the cars are just not Lexuses and high-end expensive vehicles. That's probably why. So we will see. We will see where this leads us. And I'm very curious to see where we go from here. How we got here, how did we get here, what are we doing at the Grove, what are they doing at the Grove? it's all open for fair questioning, but I think it should be fair. And I'm not a journalist, but as much as I can, I try to keep my thoughts and my views based on what I learned about being a journalist and my strong views about how you should treat people and how you do try to be fair and honest and try to not assume, not accuse people, but to get to the truth. This is what you got to do. So, if you can come out July 13th, this is a Saturday, July 13th, 2019, we will be out there, and we will be passing out information, passing out flyers, maybe even a couple books. We'll see. And then hopefully Sacred Owls will play a couple songs out there live at Bohemian Grove. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. All right, good peeps. Thanks so much. Appreciate listening to my little rambling here about Bohemian Grove.
Hello, this is Walter Bradley, and I join Greg Fernandez Jr., well, remotely anyway, as we go to Monte, California and Bohemian Grove. We look forward to it each year, and we are so amazed at how well they keep that efficient running of Bohemian Grove in Monte, a very, very lovely area and a well-run city of Monte. Join us, and we'll want you there because we're there to find out information. If you want to join us and see what's up and listen to Greg Prost and go on it, well, then he'll be there, and we will see what we can see, know what we can know, and go with that. We look forward each year to going to Bohemian Grove, a very, very exclusive club in California. It is a club of not just the elite, shakers and makers of the industries. They are the upper class, you would say. The Bill Gates, the movie stars that are established, presidents, kings, priests, who knows what more goes. What goes on there? Only tales that we have heard from others talk of this, and what others who have been there, from Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and many others. What do you think? Why, what, who, where, and what in the world are we going to do about it? Or can we do anything? Well, we can discuss that. So join us, will you? And if you want, please go to California, go to Monte, and see it for yourself. We often in this world have questions about the way our government works, about the way civic duties are accomplished, and how policies are formed, and why they are formed, and to what end do they go. Well, it seems that in many cases these are discussed by many people who have the power to make it happen. Those who are the ones that put government in motion. So who are these people? Well, they're presidents of nations, they're leaders in France, the European Union, Iceland, United States, South America, the Near East, the Far East, Israel, you name it. Any public official that's high enough and invited goes to Bohemian Grove. Do you ever wonder why? Are you crazy? You gotta be nuts. You can't do that. I think that's what people in Bohemian Grove want us to think. You can't do that. You can't oppose us. You can't change us. We can't do anything. They're the ones in power. Well, somewhat true. Those that are in power enact and do things that we cannot. And we do not know. And if you don't know, what can you do? Well, yes, there's something you can do. You can actually go look and find out. So go with Greg and his group, Monte, and go and see what's happening in Bohemian Grove. So stop twiddling your fingers and start moving your feet to Bohemian Grove and find out what's going on. This is Walter Bradley. Do it today. Hello. Welcome to confusion. You like that? Do you like not knowing, being confused? Do you like seeing things go awry and can't figure it out? Of course not. You don't. And wouldn't you like to know how to correct that when it does? Or get an idea of why it's happening and get an idea of how to correct it? Well, those are good points to start with Greg Fernandez Jr. as he goes out to Bohemian Grove in Monte, California. Do you want to go? Maybe you don't. Maybe you should want to go, though, because that's where a lot of things that affect you that you don't know about, and things that happen that have a cause and effect based on Bohemian Grove, the Bilderbergers, and other groups, Masonic and otherwise, that actually have an input into what affects you, whether it be the Federal Reserve, the French rulers deciding to legalize gay marriage in the United States. Do you think these things affect you here? Or what about the fact of how the Federal Reserve rises up and does the interest rate one way or the other, and effects of money and people on the street? Well, do these things occur to you that, hey, this is important? Well, so does Greg Fernandez. He thinks it's important, and he's going to Bohemian Grove in Monte, California, to look at the situation there. Could you join him? Well, go to Monte yourself and look him up. Could be the best thing you've ever done and might open your eyes to things you never saw ever in your life. And I went in 2012 and saw some interesting things. Rockefeller, not that that's important, but important people show up there, worldwide, high profile, government leaders, and those who are the power in the industries. Control. Everybody wants control. Who's in control? Who's that man behind the screen? No, it's not the Wizard of Oz. No, it ain't your daddy. Ain't your mama either. But there is somebody behind the scenes. Do you know who it is? Well, we know where they go, and the screen is Bohemian Grove. What in the world is happening? Nobody knows, except those who go. And hey, if you're going, it's showing, because changes occur, and sometimes, if not many times, it starts in Bohemian Grove. Why? Because that's how they do it. They go there to get away from everybody, and it's a very strict club of only those who are invited and only those who are in good thing there. Takes some money, takes power, to get in there. And once you're there, you have a stake in world affairs. Do you want a steak? Well, no, I do. Sirloin. Ribeye. But if you want a steak or a part in something, you have to be a part and go do it. Have you ever heard of somebody that sticks their head in the sand when things get rough? Well, that's most of the nation and most of the world. They kind of ho-hum along because we're in the brave new world. Brave new world we're in. Everybody's got pleasure and things to do. They got the new restaurant to go to, the new vacation to go to, that new party at the end of the street, that new restaurant, that new show, that new artist. Hey, there's just so many distractions and so much to watch. I mean, have you found out what the Kardashians are doing and are wearing today? Oh, goodness. And what about Bruce Jenner, the guy that forgot who he was? Oh, okay. Maybe he didn't forget. Maybe he just did it on purpose because he always wanted to be a woman, but he's not. You can't change your gender no matter how hard you try. I wish I were Superman, and sometimes I really feel like I'm Superman. But I'm not going to stop a bullet and be able to jump tall buildings in a single bound. I'm not going to be able to beat up every bad guy, stop the asteroids from hitting the Earth, and certainly not going to stop the end of time. That's a biblical thing that's going to happen with all the help of the elite. Henry VIII, very powerful king. Elizabeth I, Elizabeth II. What do all of these have in common? Power. Where does power come from? Power comes from ruling over people. How do they rule over people? By governments. Why do governments all go to Bohemian Grove? Oops, wait, what? Why do all governments send people to Bohemian Grove? and meet with the rich, the powerful, the industry leaders. I don't know. I don't care. Leave me alone. Just get away. Common statement, isn't it, when somebody's bothered by a question that they do not like? Well, we've dealt with that before, and haven't you? You know, you have an important question that is important and it needs answered, and somebody just doesn't want to be bothered and walks away. Many people do that when it comes to their governments, why things happen, world issues, world disasters, and many other things.